Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone. And we are here for NuWhoZone. And yes, we're back. Series 9, Peter Capaldi. A lot of people like this series. Um, yeah, it's been a while actually since I watched this one. I watched Series 10 quite a lot, I have to be honest. But this one, I haven't watched this as often as I should, I suppose. But it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds actually while we're watching it each week. So this will be the time that they're on each Monday. So hopefully we'll get back into a rhythm again. Classic Who Zone for anybody that's interested is on Wednesday at 6:30, slightly half an hour earlier. We used to do that in the old days because obviously the classic episodes they might be shorter episodes, but like there's a lot more of them. So yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun because we'll have to decide where we're gonna split stories and stuff like that. There's too many parts, but we do try to get through as many as we can. But of course, I don't do this on my own. Obviously, it's not just going to be me chatting away because that'd be boring, wouldn't it? We have to have some guests with me, and we got a couple of the old guys back on the panel. A couple of the people that are normally on are still busy doing other stuff at the moment with their lives and stuff. That always happens. So as soon as they're available, obviously we'll get them on. It'll be nice to see them, but let's start. We'll start off with the one and only. We got royalty on this channel as we always do. Yeah, of course we do. It's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be back.
And there you go. Nice to see you. By the way, anybody on StreamYard, just real quickly, when you go into your StreamYard, you'll see broadcast and then you'll see past. Right, go into your past section and you'll see that all the list of streams that you've done because people are saying that they're having problems with StreamYard. Yeah, it's because you're running out of memory, folks. You need to actually delete the broadcast. I've put a little video up on my Twitter account for anybody that, and I've done a step by step. By the way, you'll see me actually do it. So for anybody out there that needs to clear up their StreamYard, there's a little video there for you to do it. You will have to do it because it'll keep getting worse. You'll keep having those issues, especially if you're running a YouTube channel and you're using StreamYard. You have to actually delete the recording because StreamYard records your live streams, believe it or not, and you've got to delete them. Don't delete the broadcast. You will see I've showed you step by step so you can't get confused, but it'll help with your StreamYard because people have been complaining about StreamYard, but that's what it is. It's a memory thing. So
Oh, Daniel said there was issues when we streamed. I didn't notice on
yeah,
Friday, but he said afterwards there was.
yeah. Sometimes there was with my sound as well. There seems to be, but it's a memory thing. So just make sure you actually clear the memory. That's all we need to do on that. Next, our next guest is the one and only PD Rich.
Hey, I don't know who
Oh,
I am
PD,
anymore.
it's been so long. Hello.
I just
Feels
don't
like
know who I
ages.
am anymore.
There we go. He's David Tennant, uh,
Good to be
uh,
back.
Avatar, and for anybody that's been living or hiding in a cave or under a rock, David Tennant is coming back for the 60th anniversary specials, and yeah, everybody is hyped for that. But we're here for Peter Capaldi's first episode, obviously, of his second season. Season
Oh,
eight,
yeah.
season eight was a bit of a mixed bag, if we're
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
Bit of a rough
Um,
start, wasn't it,
Oh,
really, for
yeah,
the
God, yes.
Doctor?
but this one it was slightly better. Season 9, I think the tone. I think Stephen Moffat got the Doctor spot on. Actually, in this,
Hi,
that's
Dan. Nice to see you.
that's
Hey, Dan.
that's the thing. So, yeah. So, if everybody in the chat is ready to go, you know what to do. Press 1 in the chat. Amazing Avatar and all. Enjoy the episode, everyone. Great to see these streams return. Yeah, I just over the last couple of weeks been trying to figure out where we're gonna put them because I know I'm doing other stuff as well, and it's been a pain in the arse. Did another spaces with Noel Clark last night. He records them, so they'll be up on his Twitter account. I have actually told him to try get them onto his YouTube channel. But
Oh,
yeah,
we're always plugging it.
Noel has been getting me to co-host with him on these spaces as a bit of a buffer. So if he needs a question asked or anything like that, so he can continue the conversation, and obviously then I go into the comment section and read out a few of the people's comments to him. So he's getting a lot of support. I've noticed, the first one we did, there was a few trolls in the first one, but he's done two now. The second one, nobody really bothered. But very interestingly, a couple of journalists were listening. So if you're listening to this stream now, just gonna tell you like this out straight. You will want to look into the Noel Clark case a little bit more, because there's a lot more going on that meets the eye, and there's also a lot of questions that have been asked that a lot of you have refused to even acknowledge. Some journalists have went as far as to block us, and we haven't even been any way nasty or toxic in any way. All we've asked is questions, and we keep getting shot down. So if you're listening, I would say please look into the Noel Clark stuff, especially the claims where he said that there was no investigation, no crime was reported. It's your job as a journalist to do your job properly and follow up on new leads, and I don't see you doing that. But that's all I'll say on that, because we're not here for that. But yeah, I found that very interesting. But yeah, they'll be continuing. There'll be a lot more of them. Obviously, the next one will be on his movie Brotherhood, but then he will be going into other stuff, juicy stuff, obviously stuff that fans want to know within reason, because obviously right now he's in a position where the Guardian article now is under well, basically it's being disputed by Noel Clark at the moment. So yeah, so he has to, at the same time, he has to be careful, but he is gonna try get his side of the story out. And yeah, I've been there with him every step of the way, and I'll continue to do so, because I've spoke to this man behind the scenes, and I speak to him nearly on a daily basis now. And I've gotten to know the chap. He's always, asking how I am. He's checking in. I check in with him. That's just the way it's gone. But yeah, he's a nice man, from what I've gathered from getting to know. And he's very talented, and he misses doing what he does. If you listen to his spaces, you can clearly tell that he's missing doing what he loves, which is creating, which is directing, which is acting. And it's such a shame. But anyway, let's get into this. Can we have ones in the chat, please? If not, what we'll do is we're going to get Queen Charlotte to go ahead and do the countdown for anybody that's new. If you have a copy of
Which is familiar.
yeah,
Is
the
it? Have I got it right?
No, it's the
Magician's Apprentice.
It's
That one.
Yeah.
That one.
Magician's Apprentice. So get your copy of that episode, stick it in your DVD player or your PlayStation, your Xbox, whatever plays DVDs or Blu-rays. And what we do then is we do a countdown from five to 1, and then we tell you to press play. So if everybody in the chat that's listening can press 1, if not, we're going to go in about 30 seconds from now, which will bring it up to 16 minutes.
Very precise.
So we'll give you a second. We'll be fair, because we're not
take
square.
A few days for the usual audience to get back.
Because we're not square on this channel.
Definitely not.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that was an awful joke. No. The dog tried to bite me socks before bleeding. Come on.
No, they do that.
Yeah, I have a brand new pair of socks on, and Ted just hates brand new pairs of socks, so he tried to rip them out my foot before I came on. Okay, Queen Charlotte, we got a couple of ones. So I think we're safe enough to go. So without further ado, do the countdown and we'll get this show on the road. And I knew that was going to happen to me just before I start. Right, go ahead, quick, before this starts going blah blah on me again.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off.
I love this episode.
Is this
I
start
love
off with
certain
Baby
bits of this
Davros?
episode.
Yep.
Baby Davros. Oh, this is
Yes.
the hand mines. Yeah. That
one.
was clever. That was clever, yeah.
That was creepy. Because did Moffat write this one? I always forget.
Baby Davros.
Because that seems like a very Moffat type thing with the hands. Really gives me Moffat vibes, but he might not have. Actually, we'll see when the titles come up, won't we? You wrote this.
It is a bit of a moral dilemma, though, isn't it? Because people ask the question, if you could go back to a time when the bad Austrian was born, would you have?
Or just any historic.
Yeah, or any historical
reprehensible
figure.
figure.
If you had a chance to change history, go back through that past, especially when you were children, would you? Like, it is a moral dilemma,
Yeah, especially as you've got then a normal person has that thought now and again, but then you've got a time traveler.
Yeah.
It's such an easy. It's not like it's one of those. I wonder if I could. He physically could do this anytime he wanted. It's just a matter of his own morals that's stopping him. There's nothing physically or tech-wise being a barrier at all.
Yeah, certainly is.
Yeah.
He weren't bad as well, I thought, the lad in this.
No, it
For
wasn't
a
too
child
bad.
actor, they've done a lot
No,
worse.
he was very, very good. I mean, that's what I mean. They make the kid likable to make the decision. It's a whole moral dilemma. It's like Tom Baker in Genesis of the Daleks, where he says, "Do I have the right?" It's that whole moral dilemma. Like, does he have the right to wipe out Davros before Davros becomes Davros, basically?
Yeah, and you can tell this whole episode is very much looking back to Genesis, isn't it? It's very much looking back to the Doctor having opportunities and always denying them. And what does that actually say about the Doctor? It's a bit it's not the exact same, but it reminds me a bit of Batman and Joker. Sort of similar vibes a little bit. Of the Batman could kill the Joker at any time. Yeah. And he probably should, but his morals and his code means he can't.
Yeah.
I have to say the hand mines were very clever, though. Very scary if you're a kid watching that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Moffat actually got a bit of stick for being too frightening for the kids. But no, Moffat said that's exactly what you need to do. You need to scare the crap out of this. Yeah. You need to scare the crap out of them.
I can't remember when he said it, though. It was in one of the documentaries.
Or was it on one of the Blu-rays, maybe?
It was, yeah.
It was on one of the confidentials. I can't remember what it is. I actually quoted him saying that.
Yeah, I can remember actually. Now you said that in the confidential, you'd be like, "Oh, you need to scare the little buggers." You said something to that effect,
didn't you? But you actually do. That's what makes that good, because us as adults, then we get some satisfaction out of it, because the kids are, it's all right, you know what I mean? It's only a hand sort of thing, but we know, because we're adults, we know how horrifying that actually is, like in the terms of war and stuff like that, where the kids are frightened by the hands.
Yeah, because it's obviously there's a lot of also war imagery harking back in this story. And it's very sci-fi sort of way to tell it. But yeah, it's very much sort of that macabreness of the First World War. I really do get that vibe.
It was on Fear Factor, Doctor Who Confidential Fear Factor.
There you go. You have to scare the kids.
Yeah.
If you don't scare the kids, then you're not doing your job.
Do you want the full quote? I can give you the full quote. I'm not qualified to know whether it is good or bad thing to that children like scary things, but it's an undeniable, unquestionable fact that they do. They like scary stories. They tell scary stories to each other. They play games specially designed to scare them. It's a natural human appetite. it's something we do. Children love scary.
Well, we do
Yeah.
though, but that's the thing. We
Exactly.
grow up with scary stories. Our parents telling us scary stories, Charlotte, don't we? Like we grow up with that
Oh
sort
yeah,
of
but
culture, you know.
if you think about the modern culture, look at
Yeah.
some of the biggest horror games. They've got massive children audiences.
Oh yeah.
Look at Five Nights at Freddy's. Look at
Yeah.
Poppy is a recent one. Poppy Playtime.
Yeah.
A lot of the audience is very young for those games.
I know. Remember
And they love
Slender
it.
Man? Slender. I loved it.
Look, I can imagine if you were a kid back in the 60s and the first time you seen a Dalek.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
can you remember when New Who came back and that episode Dalek, when we first heard a Dalek for the very first time in years, and
Yeah.
that whole scene, right? And the
Yeah.
chills that we all got, and the hair standing up, and all of that. Could you imagine that as a kid?
Yeah.
See, look, that's the magic of Doctor Who. You've got to push those to a certain extent. Now, obviously, you don't want these kids to be absolutely terrified and traumatized for the rest of their life.
Yes.
But you've got
Yeah.
to scare them enough that they want to watch more, because kids do. It's like, aren't we kind of fear we kind of run towards, don't we? And sort of want to know everything about and explore. It's mad. Human nature is mad.
I think weirdly when you're young, you can face that stuff more. The older you get, sometimes the harder it is to face that sort of stuff. Because when you're young, you're scared in the moment and then you forget about it. And you don't sort of, unless like I said, it's proper like meant to give them nightmares, like really bad. See, another reason I just adore this episode is Missy. I just adore her.
Oh, she's brilliant in this. Absolutely.
Was he using one of those scooter things to run around like that? Because that's deadly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's the
Electric unicycles. One of those, or a hoverboard, yeah. I haven't seen these guys in a while.
The Shadow Proclamation.
Yeah, Muffy didn't really do a lot with them, did he? From my memory.
No.
He sort of mentioned them now and again.
Yeah. It's in a name colony. It's nice to see the sisterhood again, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Moffat liked doing this though, didn't he? Just
putting
in cameos everywhere.
Well, yeah, and I think I got a vibe that he honestly found like the mysticism quite interesting with the sisterhood. He liked to play with that.
I'd turn around and say, "Who cares? Let him." Just want William Shatner turn up and go, "Let them die." Not much.
It's always the doctor's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a two-parter or just a one-part
Two-parter.
episode? Yeah, this is is it the second episode where he opens his eyes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man,
The
that cost.
first part isn't Davros is in it, but he's not in it as much as the second part. You get a lot more Davros.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the second episode is where the little bit of controversy is because Davros opening his eyes didn't sit well with a lot of people.
Well, it just also, I think if you take away the law stuff, and we'll probably talk more about this when we watch it, it just didn't look like a good effect.
Yeah.
As well, like that really didn't help it.
No, here's Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, Missy actually tells her that she's nothing and she's like this little speck on the universe, which I quite enjoy in this episode.
Oh, that's my favourite scene.
Yeah, I love when Missy turns up, actually.
And the other one.
It's an epic introduction to Missy in this episode, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
The planes are just, I mean, it is.
Especially when you realise what her actual game was.
I mean, Moffat really did. Telling you, man, he had ideas. He didn't always execute them well, but the ones that he did. See, this is the problem with him. He do one great episode, and then the next one, it wouldn't be as good. He just couldn't maintain the consistency.
He was a sprinter, not marathon runner. That's what I always said about Moffat.
Like his Monk 3-parter starts off brilliantly.
Yeah.
And then
I think some of it is just it's hard to because Moffat was more of like a mystery sort of wonder what's happened type of writer. Whereas
mystery box,
whereas Russell was more just blockbuster, here's fun, here's adventure.
Yeah.
You can do that over parts nicer than a mystery. Because you're always gonna have to come to that reveal eventually. And if it's not a good reveal, that spoils the whole story, really.
Yeah. I forgot how many cameos there was in this first part.
And I forgot that Clara is just riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just out of nowhere.
Yep. Hey, it's Roz from Bugs.
Well, Kate Stewart is back in the new series. It'll be interesting.
She's not bad. I like her.
I like her. I don't know what other stories she's got left at this point.
I know.
I don't know though if the rumors are true and Shooty's doctor is going to be stuck on Earth. It actually makes sense. And actually, you know, it's kind of harping back to the Brigadier. That's the Pertwee era. I kind of like the idea of it if it's done properly. To be quite honest with you, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't think she was done any justice in the Chibnall era when he did bring her back.
No.
So we know RTD will. He'll do her justice. He'll give Kate a bigger role, and he'll just the character development will be better, and we'll be convinced that she is related to the Brigadier. That's the thing that's been missing. Here's another comment. And Moffat was a great writer when he had limits. When he had none and too much freedom and budget to indulge, he often produced a mess and burned through good ideas too fast. Yeah, he kind of got a bit cocky.
Yeah.
He started believing his own hype. And in fairness to him, you know, he was doing other stuff like Sherlock as well, and he did that Tintin
which was good.
movie
I watched that movie. It was
a good which did very well. So in fairness, the cockiness was kind of justified around that time. It's just as Doctor Who fans, we felt that maybe his whole attention wasn't on the show. Mhm. I love the not dead.
Yeah.
What I love about the whole Missy thing, it's like it looks like, oh, here's like a typical master taking over the world plot, and it very much has that vibe. And
Yeah.
then you just learn she's just trying to get their attention. I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's brilliant. That
I
is
love the way
utterly
he used
brilliant.
different film locations as well for
Yeah.
this. Like,
A
I
lot-
mean, this is just brilliant.
I think they did a lot in Spain, wasn't it, for this one?
Well, you can. It definitely looks like Spain when they sit and have the coffee, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That really
Scarro
looks
was
like a
Spain as well.
Spanish.
Hey, Chris Berger.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah. Can't remember what country they did it in, though.
They usually don't tend to do mainland. I'd be surprised if it was
Yeah.
mainland. They tend to go to like one of the islands, don't they?
Tenerife,
Yeah.
a place like that, yeah.
Whereas I'm guessing it's a bit cheaper, would be my logic.
Lanzarote, yeah. Can't remember where they went for this one.
I just love how Missy's just sitting there all confident.
Different lines coming up. Oh, love her.
I think collectively the fandom was just cheering at this point.
Yeah, still
Like,
dead,
yes!
isn't he? Oh, the music. Murray Gold's music. Missy theme in the background.
Yeah, but it just shows like, and that's what I liked about Missy when it comes to, this is going to sound a bit odd, the way she would like use violence and kill people at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, you could tell the way Moffat wrote her, it was
Yeah.
of no consequence to her. She would just do it
Yeah.
because she felt like it.
Yeah. Tenerife.
There we go. I had a feeling it'd be Tenerife.
Yeah.
But no,
and
like
Lanzarote.
the way Missy would do it, it wasn't to be like, look at me, I'm a cackling villain.
Yeah. Tenerife.
It was like, look at me. It was just like, no, I'm doing it because I'm showing off, or because
Yeah.
I'm showing you I don't care about
Yeah.
anybody except for myself.
Yeah. It's very much like the old master, Delgado.
Yeah, it
Very
really did.
Delgado.
Yeah, it was very old master. Like the new masters before her, and I include Sasha, even though he did redeem himself a bit. It's like
Yeah.
they do it because it's like this. They're self-aware that they're meant to be the cartoon villain. So a
Yeah.
cartoon villain does kill people, and he does do things like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I kind of found with Sasha in the last one. He was just shouting stuff out for the sake of shouting it out, you know?
But like I said, he did redeem himself a bit. But before that, he
Yeah.
was absolutely doing my head in.
I know. It's just deranged for the sake of being
Yeah.
deranged.
Whereas Missy was this weird,
Calculated,
controlled, deranged.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
She
this
was
real
calculated.
sense. Yeah, it was calculating. It was controlled.
It was Machiavellian. It wasn't just doing it for the sake of being doing it.
I mean, like, look how she just lays into Clara in this scene.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, she can't stand Clara.
oh yeah.
Not the only one.
But no, but you can tell she's almost trying to say to Clara, you think you're important to him. You're, like
Yeah.
I said, you're a speck. You're a tiny little part of his life.
Yeah.
I've been around longer than you. I know him. You don't. And it's
Yeah.
that personal edge to it, which I like.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing that did my head in with some of the other master
Yeah,
attempts
she is,
before.
yeah.
It was
I thought-
like,
Yeah. Just killing people randomly.
yeah.
No, I've not turned good.
Yeah, like, don't make me a hero.
Selfie for your kids.
That's the thing. I would be so up for Missy being in the 60th. I'd be so up for it. Because I'd love to see her play with Tennant. That'd be interesting. Just to see their chemistry and how they would play off each other.
Yeah. When did Michelle come back though?
She always seems to love her time in the show,
Yeah.
so I can't see why, for personal reasons, she'd say no.
Yeah.
Yes, Sudoku. There's definitely like this possessiveness about her when it comes to the Doctor. But I think she has actually got a point, because at the end of the day, the Doctor's a Time Lord. Even if he does get very close to a human, it is insignificant compared to another Time Lord trying to say, I know him longer.
Yeah.
So she's not completely self-deluded.
No.
But yeah, there's definitely that bit of possessiveness, that sort of catty jealousy.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I love this bit.
I don't know. This scene was ridiculous to me.
Oh, I loved it. It's a Doctor being a show off for once.
I know, but a tank in medieval times. Come on.
See, I didn't
he didn't
mind
leave
the
it
tank.
there.
And
then on top of that, then all of a sudden he's playing the guitar.
It's amazing. It's a rock entrance. It's a rock star's entrance. It's supposed to be.
See, I was all right with the tank. It was how he was like trying to invent language that wouldn't fit and all this stuff. And I was like, the Doctor, even if he was being a bit careless, he wouldn't be that careless.
You got to kind of remember this is a Doctor having a midlife crisis.
Oh yeah, that's why I sort of got the tank. Because of course he wouldn't have a normal car. He's the Doctor.
Yeah, I know he'd have a tank. So right
but when he was like,
motorcycle.
Is it dude? He makes them all say. I can't quite remember off my head.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's a bit cringe.
It's just funny. Remember, it's an alien's view of being cool. It's like say for Beeblebrox. That's what I love about it. Yeah, it's like a rock star. It's brilliant.
And also, Missy's face when she sees him is priceless. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She's like...
Excuse that phone.
But like I said, I do think Peter's Doctor needed to mellow out a bit. So at least they got that.
Yeah.
Like, not completely lose the spikiness, but just sort of
tone
it down a bit.
Yeah. I think it's every Rick and Morty moment.
Yeah, randomness of that, yeah.
Isn't loaded.
Oh, so did you watching this again? It made me realise how much Moffat did like quarter historicals. They were never full historical episodes.
Yeah.
He would just randomly pick a time period, have a bit of the story set in that time period, and then go somewhere else. Like, he never fully.
Yeah.
It's like he just couldn't commit to it.
Yeah.
He's doing Pretty Woman.
Yeah. Funny thing is, though, we're halfway through the episode. We haven't seen one Dalek yet.
Yeah, and he was like that with Daleks.
Yeah. It's like talk about setup.
So Missy quite likes the fact that he plays Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
She's quite flattered, almost. She comes across as like that anyway.
She's got Knight's Tale vibes as well.
Missy's face when he says a couple of friends on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. hugged her.
Not a good move.
Loads of times.
He says he doesn't trust the hug.
Yeah.
He does not trust the hug. All of me is invited. Oh. Missy's head. Oh, my folks, this is killing me.
Yeah, it was the sisterhead of Khan who brought the dial from the Time Lords.
The tank scene just drags his Hideko. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man.
It was different, I think.
Yeah, he likes going to the medieval, the Doctor.
It's probably because he knows it's easier to hide there. Just become a hermit for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, he's supposed to be Merlin, isn't he?
Yes.
I think in the beginning part they called him Merlin.
Yeah, because I think they have. Have they ever referenced that at another time in a modern show? I think they have.
Yeah. Yeah. They call him it in the in the minisode before this episode.
Mm.
So I called him Merlin. I prefer the Doctor.
I do find it amazing that in the new run, I know obviously we got Battlefield in Classic.
Yeah.
That in the new run, we haven't had, to my memory, unless I'm very much wrong here, a full blown Arthur story. No. Like with knights and everything. Like we haven't had that yet. Like we've had Robin Hood, we've had like other stuff. But and I'm just like, how have you not done that yet?
Yeah.
Right, you've got that link with Merlin. It's been established he did something in that time period.
Yeah. Scratch his eye out.
Davros is your arch enemy now.
Scratch his eye out.
Missy gets jealous.
Oh yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I thought I was your enemy.
Yeah. Scratch his eye out.
That's what I mean. For me, for a Doctor and Master to work, there needs to be some personal connection between them.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be something that's not just, you're my enemy, you're the like, with each other. With Missy, it was clear there was this sort of romantic / hatred. Like, you didn't quite understand which side, but it was always sort of those two emotions floating about.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Delgado, he loved playing with the Doctor. He saw the Doctor as an equal in intelligence, so he wanted to match that.
Yeah.
And like there was nothing with Sasha and Jodie. There was no connection whatsoever between them. So I'm hoping if we get another one with Russell, that he really does make some sort of connection between the two of them again.
Yeah.
Good boy, Clara.
Shame we're not here. Dun chish. Leaves everything behind. Tank sonic screwdriver.
But for like a first proper look on Skaro, I think they did quite good.
Yeah.
Like to realise that. Because it was always talked about, but we'd never seen it, had we? In the modern run, anyway.
Yeah. I like the Star Trek shuttle.
Yeah, it's very Star Trek, isn't it?
Very Star Trek, yeah. Conde Nast shuttle.
Like even just like the insides of it also are massively Star Trek-y.
Yeah. City of the Daleks was the last time you saw Skaro. That was the video game by Sumo.
Oh yeah, I played those.
Yeah, Matt Smith ones.
Oh, those were bad.
They weren't too bad. Quite enjoyed them myself. Good for what they are.
Yeah, from my memory, they were just very clunky to get through.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy to work out what your next objective was.
Yeah.
You know we're going to get decent video games now.
I hope we do.
Oh, I'm so up for that.
Yeah, released on all release. No, don't just release them on PC and mobile. Release them on consoles as well, man. And I'll tell you, the fans will play. Do you know if they were even smart, do something like not Fortnite, but do a thing where the game is free, but you can buy add-ons and stuff like that, and the game will clear up.
No, I don't want a free game. I want a proper full release. Full
the Sumos
price.
were like that. They released them 5 episodes.
We got Facebook user in the chat saying I will catch up with the live stream later. Yeah, if you're on Facebook, do me a favor, and if you're commenting on Facebook, let me know at the end of your comment who you are, because it only comes up as Facebook user, unfortunately. And we've got XSM in the chat as well.
Well, but to be fair, like they released those Jodie games on like consoles, so I can't see how they wouldn't do that if they're going to do that with Russell's stuff.
And the reason it sold is because David Tennant was in it.
Well, the second one, that's why the first one, it was just her, and probably did terribly, I would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they actually did a game that's based off a few episodes or has a continuous story or brand new continuous story, I'd be for that.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Because I was recently thinking about this. Do you remember that little free interactive thing they did? That was like a game with
Yeah.
Tennant.
Yeah.
And they filmed scenes for it, and it was a proper like in between sort of episodes adventure.
Attack of the Grask, yeah.
Yeah, imagine that, but like a proper game.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
full blown game like that style. I think that would do so well.
Like Bandersnatch, yeah.
Like, you're the Doctor's assistant for this one adventure.
Yeah. Like Bandersnatch, yeah.
Because, like, I think in the story was there, it's like Rose was at an ABBA concert or something.
Yeah.
So that's why you stepped in. And I was just like, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. The problem is the lighting on the TARDIS was terrible in that one.
Well, you could tell it was I'm amazed they got away with what they did.
Yeah.
Probably for the money BBC allowed them to use for it.
Yeah. You could just tell the main lights, the thingy lights are on in the studio. The TARDIS.
Yeah. You could tell it was probably like 2 people at most with Tennant in that set filming his bits.
Yeah. It's probably the confidential team who filmed it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another thing I like because people know me.
Lights, that's the word I was looking for.
I love my games, and for have a proper Doctor Who one, I would just be ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah. They got Julian back as Davros.
I was going to say who was Davros. I always get mixed up.
Julian Bleach. Hey, TARDIS time.
Hi, TARDIS. Yeah, he's brilliant, Julian. He's brilliant as Davros. I think he gets like the venom so well.
Yeah.
Especially at this point. Like, think about all the things the Doctor's done to Davros. He would be absolutely just despising him at this point. So he just gets that across.
Yeah. There we go. Rice pudding.
Oh yeah, the clips.
Yeah.
It's another thing Moffat liked to do.
Yeah. That's the moment you talked about earlier.
Yeah, but in fairness, sometimes he did it well. There's the line. Do I have the right? See, that's what it's all about, that moral dilemma. It is a good episode, and those little clips actually make sense to this episode, but it's when he did it unnecessarily just for member berries, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, like fan service. You could tell in his head he thought he was doing fan service.
Like, we don't mind a little bit of fan service, but when you go in too heavy on fan service, it's so obvious you don't enjoy it as much.
Plus, as well, this is a really cruel plan, and it suits Davros what he's doing. If you think about like how he's got the Doctor where he wants him, what he's played on to get the Doctor here, and it's purely just to like get the regeneration energy out of him.
Yeah. Or the holographic regeneration energy.
Well, yeah, obviously we won't go into it, but current stuff in the timeline does mess around with this episode quite a bit.
Yeah.
The new history we've been told doesn't quite match with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. XSM, it became too aware. Moffat definitely became too aware at times.
Yeah.
Of the fact that this was a show and it had a legacy.
Yeah.
But he did it in Sherlock as well. The later series of Sherlock were way too self-aware.
Yeah. Stephen Moffat's problem.
I remember, I can't remember which series it was when it was like the big reveal as to how Sherlock didn't die. And there's a whole scene where he basically had characters do fan theories about how he survived, and it's like that's literally what the fans are doing, Stephen. You can't take the mick.
Yeah.
Because you made them out to be very sad little individuals. Like they even he deliberately took fan theories like, oh, they loved each other and they didn't really kill each other, Moriarty and Sherlock. And it was just like, yeah, that was some Tumblr idiot. You're not to take that seriously.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Everyone's going on about, why is there so many Daleks from different eras? I was just turn around and say it's a time war.
Yeah, it would be a bit odd if they were all from the same sort of version of Dalek.
Yeah. It's only a doorway, though. We're about 42 minutes in.
Yeah, it's nearly over now, yeah.
Almost done. It's last 4 minutes left.
Yeah, they're on every Monday, 7 o'clock, folks. So every Monday, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You can burn it forever and ever and ever and ever. And ever and ever. And ever and ever and ever.
Whoops. Oh, here's my favourite shot coming up. I love this design.
Bit of a sick puppy there, Davros.
Yeah. And that was my favourite shot, the one in Clara's back.
Well, yeah, this whole story was another tease that she was going to get killed off, and he never did it.
Yeah. It was interesting to watch, though.
At this point, I'd given up hope. I was like, no, you're not going to kill her. You've done it. You've teased me way too many times at this point.
Yeah. She turned into Kenny from South Park in this season. Kind of redeemed season 8, though.
Yeah, shock value. I agree, Sadako. He was doing certain things you could tell because he knew at that point the social media and the fandom would talk about it for a week.
Yeah.
Not because it would actually benefit the story. It was just, oh, this will get them talking.
Yeah, water cooler thingy.
Mm.
Joey Pierce, yeah. Davros.
What a cliffhanger to end on, though, in fairness. That was a good cliffhanger.
Back to cliffhangers.
And next week, we will be doing the second part.
Yep.
So do me a favor in the chat, give your ratings out of 10, as we always do on the channel. So if you want to whack in your ratings there, and we'll get everybody on the panel now to give theirs. So Queen Charlotte, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I forgot because I hadn't watched this in ages. Because at this point, I think I was very fallen out of love with what Moffat was doing with the show. So I've not got a brilliant memory of this season. And watching it again, I was surprised how good this episode was.
Yeah, it was good.
Even though, like we said, it's a lot of setup.
Yeah.
But it actually does it quite well because you've got what's Missy up to. You don't quite know what she's doing. Like I said, it looks like she's doing a typical take over the planet type of thing. And then you find out, oh no, it's this confession dial and there's something more personal here with her and the doctor. And then, of course, you've got Clara roped into it. And I like that now she's not this perfect individual. People are calling her out on stuff.
Yeah.
And there's actual consequences to her actions. That was another thing that was doing my head in Series 8. She would just float around and nothing would affect her. And also I really love how modern Who Has Done Davros. Actually, I in that Stolen Earth 2-parter, I thought, yeah, no, this is he's showing the heart of the Doctor in that story, and that's something Davros will do. And once again, like I said, he's doing something really cruel here.
Yeah,
but it suits. And also, you've got the added thing now of him as a boy being promised that he's going to get saved by the Doctor, and then the Doctor leaving him. So now you've got that added sort of slight, which just makes sense as to why he acted the way he did to the Doctor. More than just, oh, he's stopping my plans. No, there's a personal edge to this now. Like I said, and I like it when the villains do get a bit more personal with the Doctor, because I think it just makes them more interesting. So I think it gives a new side to Davros. And I love just some of this sort of this how the sets some have done. Like I said, Scaro's done really well. I like how sort of the is it Viking? I can't quite remember the medieval stuff. Even for the tiny bit we have of it, I think that's quite a good set and it suits its purpose. The only thing I could really knock it for is, yes, some bits drag. I do agree. So I'll probably give this a 8 because some bits drag a little bit. So yeah, I'll give this an 8.
8. Yeah, I'd agree with Charlotte on everything that she's actually said there. Does drag a little bit, but I do like that cliffhanger at the end. I have to be honest. Wasn't expecting to see him come back again, and this time like with a Dalek gun, and he does say exterminate, and you think right there at that moment, because like, you know, he's gonna kill the kid, but we obviously see what happens later on in it. But yeah, I do like the stuff between Capaldi and I should say Peter's Doctor and Davros. I think that's very good. There's a bit of a scare factor in this as well, which I like. But yeah, I think I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's better than that we got last season, I suppose, if you could put it that way. So, yeah, maybe I'm being a bit too generous, but you know, feeling in generous mood, so why not? 8 out of 10 for me. So Sadako gives it a 5. So middle average for Sadako. There we'll find out what PD Rich gives it. So PD,
okay, you're gonna hate me for this one. I actually really loved this episode. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was kind of Doctor Who I wanted to see again. I just never got to see. Just loved it. I just loved the tank bit. I just loved Missy calling Clara a little dog. I just loved the end where Clara gets shot in the back. I mean, I just think this whole episode just redeemed Season 8 in one fell swoop and sends us on a completely different course, which is what I wanted from Moffat. And that's why I love this season so much. It's one of my favourite seasons. I even love 10. It's just I just thought Season 8 was just an absolute drag compared to this. So I give it a 9.
You give it a 9.
Yeah, I loved it.
Well, I have to say, XSM says that he rates them both at the same. So I'll add both of them together.
Yeah,
that rating was for. Chris gives it 7.5 out of 10, and he says it's a little better now after reflection. Yeah, I've noticed that. Again, I keep asking the same thing. Is it because they actually are better than what we originally thought?
Yeah.
Or is it because of what's happened the last 5 years and the shite that we've tolerated, that all of these episodes just seem to be hyped up a little bit? I don't know. I think personally they're a little bit better than what we thought. I think we were, you kind of analysed and maybe we're a bit harsh on Moffat a little bit.
We were too much connoisseuring it. Sorry, Charlotte.
I was going to say, I think the problem at the time was Moffat had his tropes, and we were just fed up of the tropes. We were fed up of the type of storytelling, certain parts of it, and I just think that might have just overridden some of the gooder stuff we couldn't see at the time because we were just so fed up.
No, you have a good point there, Vala. Yeah. I mean, I do. Yeah. It's been a few years, I suppose, if you think about it. So it's not as annoying as it was back then, I suppose. But I'm actually really enjoying some of these stories. I do know I had problems with the second episode.
Oh yeah. So I remember that. I'll see how I feel when I watch it.
Yeah, so we'll see how we feel about that one next week. But listen, as I said, these don't go on too long, these ones, because all we do is review the episodes. We don't get into
unless news drops and we
while
talk
we're
about
live.
That.
Well, if we're live during one of these and news does drop, obviously we will let you know. We won't, but hopefully that doesn't happen and we can just concentrate on these, and then we can obviously do a separate stream. So you have the schedule going across the screen there all during this stream, so make note of it, keep it to memory. I will put it up. I'll keep putting it up every stream, so everybody's used until everybody tells them, no, you don't have to keep putting up now.
Yeah.
So when we get to that stage, then we will get rid of that banner. But what we'll do now is we do what we always do. We'll do channel shout outs now, and then we will wrap it up there. So we'll go with Queen Charlie yet again.
Yes, so Type 40 Live is back. We did last week a really fun show because we had Neil Cole. Hopefully I've said his name right. Who's got his own museum, and he actually took us on a little tour. And then we talked about some rumours and just some fun stuff. We talked about the Russell comments, if you want to hear quite a few different takes on that. And then last Friday just gone, I was on with Daniel, his Scottish Davros podcast, which we talked a bit of Who. I explained to him the mess of The Witcher, which was fun for me. It was a bit therapeutic. And then we talked a bit how we feel the industry could be going, hopefully in a more positive light.
Fantastic. Yeah, I see Daniel's doing his podcast now, and he announced on Twitter that he was thinking who he's going to bring on next. I love the confidence that he's having now to do his thing. It's nice to see, and I hope it goes great and continues to be successful. But if he keeps up with these podcasts, he will. I've always found, when I start chopping and changing, it doesn't really help. If you've got streams like this, like we're doing now, and we'll continue this, like, you'll get an audience and they'll like them. Some people used to say, when are you doing NuWhoZone? When are you doing NuWhoZone? Even though not many watch, there are some that do like them. So always think that way. It's not about how many watch either. You know what I mean? It's not about chasing an audience. People will watch, and some of them don't like their streams when they're gone. So I had to bring this back because some people wanted their new Who back. So some people complained about it, and other people like it. So it's back, and I do enjoy them. It's nice to go and watch Doctor Who again. And as I said, classic Who is every Wednesday there. So the schedule's there. So Monday, NuWhoZone 7. Tuesday, member stream. There'll be different times. So we got member stream tomorrow. Wednesday, Classic Who Zone, 6:30. Friday, the TARDIS Zone talks at 5:45 with my new co-host Christian from the Legend of the Travelling TARDIS. And then on Friday night at 9:00, you join me, Chris, and Lee for Friday Night Contact, where we talk all about Hollywood and all of that other nonsense, and that already, thanks to Sam Smith and the Grammys, we have plenty to talk about on Friday. And Hollywood, let's just say, has completely lost the plot. They rather celebrating Satan for some weird reason. But we'll get into that on Friday night. So come and join us for that. So I'll let PD Rich do his channel shout outs, and we'll wrap it up there. And I want to thank everybody in the chat that's joined us. Remember, these are 7:00 every Monday. The schedule's there, folks. Come in and join us. We'll be here every week. It's nice seeing people in the chat because we like interacting with you as well. And reading out some of those comments. So yeah, come and join us each week. So PD, go ahead, mate.
Okay, I want to shout Rabbi. Normally I'm there at the weekends. You'll find me in the chat there. Who else? Jack's channel, Join Jack Rabbit. Go subscribe to them. He's doing a wonderful job at reviewing. Get the words right in a minute. Reviewing toys, especially aliens and kind of cult horror. You got Chris at Cultivated Media, formerly Bowles Trek, who's with us on Saturdays. You got Christian Bale, who's with us on Friday. Sorry. Can I say Saturdays? I mean Fridays. Oh, Jesus! I'm gonna get right in a second. I haven't done this in a while.
You're out of practice. It's all right.
It's only been a few months since I've done this.
It's only been a few months.
Yeah, you'll find Christian as well, Noel's new co-host at the Legend of Travelling TARDIS. I speak to him on Facebook all the time, and you'll find Gobby on his channel, who's been knocking it out of the park as well.
Exactly, yeah. And everybody keep doing what they're doing. And as I said, I forgot to add, I will also be doing, this is why I have the weekends open, because that's the time that Noel Clark does his spaces. So if you look out it's mostly Sunday, but he'll give us all a heads up anyway. But we'll be doing another spaces there pretty soon, and these will be a continuous thing. So he's doing them for the long haul. So yeah, check out Noel Clark's Twitter account and Instagram account for more details, folks. And that is a wrap for tonight. We will see you members tomorrow. I know it's been a long time since we've done member streams, but as I said, we'll be doing them each Tuesday now. So come and join me. I have plenty to say about stuff that's been going on. Obviously, you've all heard the tragic news recently as well with a YouTuber who has been accused of a horrendous crime. We'll talk a little bit about that, but not just through the article and what the media have put out. And we'll be talking about other stuff that's going on in the fandom as well. I think it's an important topic that needs to be had, to be quite honest with you, because there's a lot of abusive behavior that's been going on in this fandom for 5 long years. And I think, as someone said, this is a symptom of that whole thing that goes on and what's happened now, and it needs to be addressed. If the other YouTubers out there don't want to address it, that's fine, fair enough. They can ignore the elephant in the room, but we've got to talk about this. We've got to start, calling people out when they're being toxic and aggressive, because we've seen it before with certain people that ended up being exposed as well on Twitter. We won't mention the guy's name, but you know who I'm talking about. TV. We'll just his initials. We'll just put his initials. TV. He was exposed. He was sending inappropriate messages to girls in the Doctor Who community. So we have to address this finally. It's a shame that the ones that advocate for women all the time, and I just want to make this point clear, there's certain accounts on Twitter and YouTube that advocate and uh, defend women's rights apparently. But when it comes to stuff like this, not one of them have these discussions or talk about what the toxicity that's going on in the fandom and the abuse that women have to actually suffer in the Doctor Who fandom. And we have seen it a lot over these last few years. And there's no denying that women have been especially targeted in this fandom for not liking the previous era. No, you're right. And it's about time that it's spoken about. So that's what I'll be speaking about on the member stream. What we can do, come together as a community, you know, really call these people out that are causing an awful lot of damage. That, you know, the ones that, you know, call out so-called not my doctors, but they're all the ones that are behind the abuse. It needs to be addressed. And I would urge other YouTubers out there and even people that dislike me, you know, this is a very important topic and it must be highlighted, right? Because, you know, I'll just put it to you this way. What Folk Saxon has been allegedly accused of, we don't want any more cases like that in the future. Right? So if online abuse is tolerated, that can manifest into something more sinister. And that's why we need to have this conversation. And as you know, I never shy away from these topics. I get a lot of criticism for that sort of thing. But you know what? Fair enough. I'll take the criticism on the chin. Do you know why? Because I really believe in this. I really believe that we need to have this conversation because it's not fair. It's not fair over a TV show, for God's sake. Women being abused in this fandom, we see it on a daily basis. It's absolutely disgusting. It needs to stop. And look, we could talk about, some will say, well, no, you're not being fair because blokes get abused as well. We know that, right? It has been highlighted. Right, my abuse that I've received over the last 5 years has been highlighted enough, right? We know that men get abused out there, right? I'm not denying that they don't, right? But I think I've focused on myself and too much, and other people out there, other men out there that can handle themselves. You know, there's vulnerable women. Remember, my wife was one that was targeted. Yeah. Queen Charlotte was targeted, right? Starry-eyed girl, right? The list goes on. Melina, right? Others out there. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And nobody bats an eyelid, especially the ones that apparently defend and advocate for women's rights in this Doctor Who fandom. Not one of them has jumped to defense of Melina or any other woman that has been abused on Twitter, right? So this is
all about what side you belong to.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Exactly. And we've got to talk about the hypocrisy. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And also I'll be talking about other stuff that's going on. I'll talk a little bit about this whole Chinese balloon nonsense and why it took the Americans so long to actually shoot it down. We'll talk a little bit about that because that is big news. But the membership streams obviously will cover stuff that I won't cover here because we got certain streams with the topics. So we'll stick to those topics on those streams. The membership streams where I'll talk about absolutely anything that's going on. So yeah, come and join me for that tomorrow. It'll be fun. So if you're a member, you'll be able to see that tomorrow. So come and join me. I think it was Alien, said Sadako. Well, if you want to watch that member stream, if you haven't become a member, as I said, there'll be regular streams now. If you haven't become a member, there's I think there's if I remember correctly, there's 2 different tiers now.
Yeah, I think somebody asked you to do a different tier.
Yeah, so we did a second tier. So there's 2 different tiers. There's a cheaper option, and obviously that'll give you access to the membership streams, and then obviously you sign up to the other one. There's the different perks and the emojis and all, which Lee has to get around to fixing as well, but he's so busy with the Doctor Who. I think he's doing a fan audio, and he's got some other stuff on the go. So, you know, he's got all that to do first. So he'll get around to it eventually. But there is pictures and stuff like that there at the moment, and you know, little badges, obviously, when you're a member for a certain amount of time and all of that perks. You know, I'm not good with the membership thing, with knowing everything about it, but there's perks.
There's nice things.
Yeah, nice things. So if you want to do that, go ahead. You'll hear what I have to say each week on that. And that's it. I'm going to leave it there now because I went over a bit long now. But there, I just want to get everything so everybody knows the schedule now, and there's no. But as I said, I will let you know each week. Well, each stream I do, because the banner will be gone. So till then, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. My back is absolutely killing me now, so I have to sit back before I end up like an old man. Then I have to take Ted out. Shit. I have to take Ted out before I can sit down and relax. But I feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame right now because my back is fucking... Yeah, I need to straighten my back out, man. Yeah, I've been sitting at a weird angle for too long now, and it's kind of wrecking me back now. So I need to get one of those things to straighten me back. Oh, it hurts. Anyway, we'll see you later, folks. Have a good evening. Night, folks. Bye.
Bye.